everyone. It's so great to see this full room here today. And the topic that we will talk about today is networking. How appropriate networking as a marketing strategy. Not networking as a social event, but networking as a marketing strategy. And this chamber, I will tell you, there was a time in my life when I worked for someone else that I belonged to 15 different organizations. But this was the chamber that got most of my time, most of my energy, because this is the chamber that gives you the most opportunity to network and to meet other people. So, strategies of networking. For me, and it was mentioned here a few times already this morning, the most important element in networking is about giving. It's about giving referrals, giving introductions, giving critical and constructive advice, but it's about giving. So networking, it's not about what's in it for me. That's an attitude that will not get you very far. So when you're thinking and when you're in an environment where you're meeting other people, consider how can you help that person. A word of caution on referrals, and I've added this recently because I've been burned. Don't give a referral unless you really know that person's work. Because they seem really nice at a networker is not a good enough reason to give a referral. Okay? So when you give one, make sure you really know the person's work, you've worked with them, you know what they can do. Just because they're a nice person doesn't mean they can do the job. So be cautious when you do give referrals. So a business card is always the first, I see us passing them around today, it's always the first thing that you give to someone. So it's important to create a good business card. Now some of us that work for a company, you have to go along with their format. But if you have your own business, think very carefully about what should be on your business card. And I learned from realtors that a photograph is a really great thing to put on your card. And I used to think, oh, that's so egotistical to have your picture on your card. But the reality is that at the end of the day, at the end of the week, when you get that card, you'll remember that person because the picture's on it. So I always recommend if you're able to create your own card, put your picture on it, and not a selfie. Invest in a professional shot. Invest in a professional shot, and all of us should be on social media. This is a professional shot that you're going to use to brand yourself. So it should be your photo on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram, so that it's a similar photo. You don't want a shot of yourself 20 years ago and another one now. I used to have dark hair, so I had to change out all my photos. But try to stay consistent with the photo. The other important thing on your business card, of course, is your phone number. Some of us are okay with giving our cell phone numbers. You want to be that accessible. Put your cell phone number on there. A website. All of us in business should definitely have a website. Of course, your email address. If you don't have an email address, you're not in business. So that should be on there as well. You don't want your business card to be crowded. You don't want it to have tiny, really cute fonts. I'm amazed at some cards that I get that I can't read them. So how am I going to get in touch with that person? So think about those of us that are over 40, that even with glasses, you want to be able to read your card. You also want to make sure that it's a card that feels good. So if you're going to spend $10 on Vistaprint, kind of says a little something about your business. So invest in your business card, spend the money. This is the first line of communication with someone, so it's really, really important. Okay, let's see. All right, a toolkit. This is a toolkit for networking. Very important to have all of these items. Of course, your business card, as I said. To keep your business card in good shape, you want a business card holder. It can be a cute one. It can be a regular, whatever, but as long as you have a business card holder. There's nothing worse than taking your business card out of your pocket and it's dirty, it's crinkled, doesn't look very professional. So you want to have a business card holder. You also want to have a Sharpie. Why do you want a Sharpie? Because most business cards have a glossy finish on them, and I don't know about you, but I like to put notes on my card when I meet someone. so that later on I'll remember something important about that person. It doesn't need to be a long dissertation, but if there's something that struck you about the person, if they're in a business that's very interesting that you want to connect with, make a note of it. If it's someone that you really want to create a relationship with, and they had a conversation about their daughter just graduated, or they have an upcoming award, or something that makes them stand out a little bit, you want to make a note of it on your card. So have a Sharpie. You always want a name badge. We have lovely paper badges here today. Not so great. A name badge with a magnet, ladies, so it doesn't tear up your nice shirts, your nice blouses, gentlemen, so it doesn't mess up your nice jackets, with a magnet. We're so fortunate here at the Pillar Board and at the Board of Governors that the Chamber creates our labels for us, our badges for us. But spend the money. Go to Home Depot, Office Depot, wherever it is, create a name badge for yourself. You can put your logo on it, your name, your company, so that when you network, you will have this nice badge. You don't have to depend on the paper badges they give you. This will help you stand out, okay? And last but not least, but very, very important for your toolkit, breath mints. Seriously, breath mints. You don't know how many times I'm at a networker and I'm talking to somebody and I want to offer them one. Have it already in your toolkit. Use it before you go into a networker. Doesn't matter if you think you haven't had garlic for lunch. You never know. So this is the essential, okay? So that's the toolkit. Very, very important. And in line with the breath mint, I will tell you, please don't spray a ton of cologne and perfume and all of that. Many people have scent allergies. So it's real important to be considerate when you're in a public environment with a lot of people around that you're conscientious about things like that, okay? The best cologne is a great fresh shower. Dress appropriately for your event. Now, I was in Connecticut for many years. And when I came to Florida, I was shocked when I would go to events and I would see people, or theater, and I'd see people with ripped jeans, t-shirts. Never go to the theater in Connecticut unless you were dressed to the nine. Florida's a little different. We are a little more casual here. However, look how fabulous Mark looks with his vest and his bright shirt. I'm attracted to that. Okay? So dress professionally, even though we're in South Florida. Dress professionally. We can be a little less casual. We can go without a tie. That's okay. And ladies, we don't have to all be in a three-piece suit or in a, pantsuit or whatever. But dress professionally. Plunging necklines and skirts up to your thighs, even if you've got great legs, is not appropriate professional attire. 10-inch heels, I know our young millennials love all that, but you want to be taken seriously, and ladies, especially us. We want to be taken seriously, and it's hard for someone to take you seriously if they're looking at your breasts, or they're having all these other thoughts because of how we're dressed. Perception is reality. So, as professionals, right, we want to dress professionally. And men, a tip for you, always make sure your shoes are shined. People look at men's shoes. Invest in a good pair of shoes. Make sure they're not scruffy. Make sure your hems aren't loose. Okay? Appearance makes a difference if you're going to be taken as a professional. Those of you, yeah, it's okay. We'll let you go.
Right.
People know I love color, so it's okay for you to have a flair and to have color. But again, you don't want to have 10,000 pieces of jewelry. You don't want to take away from what you're trying to talk about. If people are looking, wow, she's got neon lights all over the place, right? So you want to be taken seriously. Elevator pitch. We all did pretty good here this morning. If you don't have a good, effective elevator pitch, create one. And practice it in front of the mirror over and over and over. And when you're practicing your elevator pitch, Think about what is the benefit that your business can give to another person. You don't just want to talk about, oh, I've been in business 50 years, and we do this and we do that, and I. You want your elevator pitch to convey a message of benefit. What can I do for you? How can my company benefit you? That needs to be a part of how you communicate your benefit. Again, networking is about creating and maintaining relationships, not about making a sale. Don't go to a networker thinking, I'm going to get some accounts. You may, but that should not be your motivation. Your motivation needs to be to meet and to greet and to create relationships with those people that you're meeting. To do that, you want to ask open-ended questions. So obviously we want to know what you do, but you also want to know, why do you do what you do? What's your passion? Why did you spend 21 years doing what you're doing? What motivates you? Ask those kinds of questions that will have the person you're talking to light up and want to talk about it. People love to talk about their passion, their purpose. So you want to create that dialogue where they want to talk to you. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We want to listen more than we talk. So you want to ask questions that will allow that person to talk and express themselves. And when you're talking to someone, please talk to that person. Don't be looking around to see who else is coming into the room. Right? You want to be present in the moment. You're important to me. You're significant to me. I want to know why you do what you do. If you are looking around while that person's talking to you, that sends an instant message that you're not interested in what they're saying. So be present. Be in the moment. And remember, again, networking is about quality, not quantity. So it's not about meeting 20 people. You can meet 3. But those 3 people that you meet are significant and are important, and they need to feel that from you, right? Again, treat networking as a marketing strategy and not a social event. You don't want to hang around with people you already know unless you're creating stronger relationship with that person for business. Don't hang out with your friends, your coworkers. If your company has bought a table at an event and you have to sit with them, that's fine. But if not, spread the wealth. Have your employees sit at different tables so everyone can meet someone different. Don't stay in a little clique because you feel comfortable with these people. You want to get out. If you see someone standing by themselves, go and introduce yourself. Bring them into a group. Make introductions. Behave as a host when you're at an event, not a guest. Right? So if you see that there's someone that's maybe a little shy or there's someone that's new, the chamber has so many events all the time, and there's many people that are there for the first time. They're a little nervous, they don't know how to break into maybe a group that seems like they're closed in. Open up your group, bring people in. It's always more comfortable to stay with people that you know, but you could be missing out on a lot of business if you don't venture out of your comfort zone. Don't go to a networker hungry. You're not there to eat and drink. And again, the chamber does fabulous networkers at amazing restaurants with great food. But eat first. Because it's hard to network when you've got food in one hand, a drink in the other, and your mouth is full of food. Very hard. So make time afterwards to eat, but don't go there for that purpose, okay? Unless, it's, as I say, it's a dinner, and the chamber does do dinners, but again, you want that opportunity to network before you start eating. And drinking, I recommend 1 glass of wine or 1 drink that you nurse all evening, or sparkling water or soda, that's okay. There's nothing worse than being at a networker and someone is sloshed and they're hanging out at the bar. That's not networking, okay? Sometimes we have to shut down the bar so we can get people's attention, right? So, again, I had mentioned to you, even if someone, and it was mentioned here today, if someone can't be a direct client, they can always be a great referral source. So don't cut yourself short if you find out you're talking to a banker and you don't need a banker. Because that banker could have a client that could be your client. So don't ever, take time to talk to people and to know them. And you never know, it may not be a direct client, but it could be a great referral source. If you can't go to networkers regularly, designate someone from your company to do it for you. It's a really important part of your marketing to have a representative of your company go to networkers and to make your company, put your company in its best light. Be cautious who you designate. If you do designate someone, that is someone that understands your culture, that understands your company, that can represent you well. And hopefully someone that will be there for a while, because there's nothing worse than having different faces constantly trying to represent your company. So try to make that something that's consistent. And again, I think Carter mentioned it, don't just join a chamber and think business is going to just come to you, just because I paid my membership dues. You must participate. You must get involved. And this chamber, out of all the chambers and associations I belong to, gives you more opportunity to be involved than any other organization I know. We have, as Jerry mentioned, 11 councils. All of those councils need chairs and co-chairs. All of those councils need leadership. We have a pillar board. We have a board of governors. Those are all leaders in the community. There is nothing better than being on a board or being on a committee with someone who is a professional and a decision maker in a business. That is the best way to network. When you're in a small group, when you work together, when you're on a gala committee together, when you're working on a tech and hospitality event together. So when you join the chamber, don't just come to networkers, get on a committee. Come to the councils, see how you can participate in building community through the chamber. Because it is those intimate relationships that will really bring you business. When you're sitting at a table with 5 or 6 people and working on a project, that is quality networking. So participate, get involved, join a committee or two, and think about being in positions of leadership. We have 2-year terms here with our councils. We need to have fresh blood. We want you to participate. We want you to bring your fresh ideas and your new concepts to the chamber. Oh, this is a pet peeve of mine. If you RSVP to an event, unless you have been hit by a bus, be there. And if you're going to an event, please RSVP. It is so difficult when people are planning events. They don't really know who's going to be there. And I find that in South Florida, in Miami, it's so challenging when people do events. People don't RSVP, but they show up. They RSVP and they don't show up. It doesn't always balance out. So again, be considerate. It's a part of just being a professional and being considerate. If you're going to go to an event, RSVP. If you RSVP, show up. If you know you're not going to make it, call or send an email and say, I'm sorry, something has come up, I can't make it. Common courtesy. Seems very challenging sometimes. This is something that I'm always challenged with. Practice effective techniques to remember names. The most important sound to someone's ear is the sound of their own name. If you can remember people's names, you're head and shoulders above so many people. And there's different techniques. When you're talking to a person, say their name a couple of times, not so it's nauseating, but say it a few times, look at something that they're wearing or something distinctive about them that will help you remember their name, so that the next time you see them at an event, you can say, Andrina, it's so good to see you, right? Hi, I remember you, what was that name again? So, sometimes you can play it off. I play it off really well because I just meet so many people and I have a hard time with it. It's definitely a flaw, but I try to work on it, right? Because it is something that helps you stand out. If you haven't seen someone in a month or two and you run into them again and you remember their name, they will really appreciate, because now you've made them feel significant because you've remembered their name, right? Oh, this is another one. Follow up. Follow up, follow up, follow up. You're at the end of the day, you're at the end of a networker, and you have all these cards, and they get thrown in your drawer. And then you go to another networker, they get thrown in your drawer. A week goes by, there's a pile of cards in your drawer. I'm talking from personal experience here. Get a management system. Get some kind of a database management system. Even if it's sorting through at the end of the network and you're dead tired, just to pull out the people that you really, really, really need to follow up with within the next day or two. Ideally, 24 to 48 hours, you need to be following up with people that you really want to connect with, because they'll forget you. You could be as fabulous as ever, but if they haven't heard from you in a week, they might forget what you talked about, they might forget what you do. So really try hard to follow up within a day or two of meeting people that you really want to connect with. The notes that you wrote on the business card with the Sharpie will help you personalize a follow-up note. It was great meeting you. Congratulations on that award that you won last week. I'd really like to talk to you more about your strategies for business. Whatever it might be, but throw something in there that's personal. So that's again why those personal notes on a business card are important. Keep abreast of business news. Read the paper or read it online. Nobody reads the paper anymore. But the community news that the Chamber does is a great source of information for people that are in our community doing great things. Read that paper. And if you see something that's relative to someone that you've met, drop them a little note. Take a picture of the article. Email it to them. Something that shows that you've read about them, you've seen how they've been in the paper, and I know that the Chamber often will put things in their weekly newsletter about members in the news. So it makes it a little bit easier for you. Follow up with people when they get press, when they're in media, when they're on TV. Let them know that you've seen them, congratulate them on it, but it's very, very important to stay abreast of the current news and follow up with people that you want to stay in touch with. And this is a lost art, but send a handwritten note once in a while. It's amazing when someone gets a handwritten note, how that stands out. And it could be something as simple as, I was so happy to meet you at Thursday's Networker. I really enjoyed our conversation, would love to follow up with you more, yada. You know, whatever it might be, it could be that simple. But that person is going to open their mail, first of all, and have a handwritten note. Nobody does that anymore, right? So, and thank yous. Thank yous and handwritten notes are the best. Some of you might know George Neary. He's the Vice President of Culture for the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. And he never fails to send a handwritten note as a thank you when anyone does anything for him. Bill Talbert also, same thing, handwritten note. It's old school, but it's definitely something that will help you stand out as a professional. Social media. I could get Sebastian up here to talk about social media, but it's trending. It's the new mail. It's the new method of connecting with people. If you're not on social media, you're missing a big part of what's important in today's environment. And it's not just millennials. We use it, right? So you need to get familiar. You don't have to be savvy. You can hire someone to help you with it, or you can do it on your own. It's a little bit tedious. It does get time consuming, but it's a necessary, I won't say evil, it's a necessary, strategy. It's a necessary strategy. And with that also comes dangers. Please, please, and I tell this to young people, but some of us need to understand it as well. What you put on social media is your public face. Don't put anything out there that's embarrassing, that's too controversial. I do my best not to get political. Use your social media to support others and to give good information. Don't make it a sales pitch. You don't want to put 50% off if you come into my store every day on your social media. You want to maybe talk about some of the events that you do, how you support organizations. You maybe want to show pictures that you've been to a networker and the people that are there, or if you've been to an award ceremony, or something that is supportive of other people. Use your social media more for others than for yourself. And then you could throw a few pictures of your cute grandchildren up there once in a while. But again, remember that this is your public face. So do not show yourself being sloshed at an event. Do not show yourself in any compromising situations because you think it's cute, because somebody else won't think it's cute. And you don't know who's looking at that. And the same thing with LinkedIn. I'm amazed on LinkedIn, that's a professional social media platform, how there's some nonsense that goes up on there. Or people getting into issues on social, don't talk politics. This is a professional social media platform. It should be used only for business. We don't want to hear about your grandchildren on LinkedIn, unless they're becoming the next president, which I think my granddaughter will be. But it's important to stay very, very professional on social media. And again, use it, your online reputation is very, very important. I mentioned getting professional advice if you don't know how to use it. Stay abreast of changing trends. The latest thing now is live streaming, Facebook Live. Videos have always been more interesting than just still photos, and definitely more interesting than just text. So become familiar with some of the new trends and the new opportunities out there. And don't be nervous and afraid to try your hand at video, even if it's a self-video, because it doesn't have to be perfect. It's great if you can get a professional one, but just test it. Get out there and do your hands, put your hands to it. Last but not least, good manners and courtesy are expected, but enthusiasm is the most important quality that you can have when you're networking. People want to know that you're excited and happy to be there. People want to know that you're excited and happy about your business and what you do for people, that you have purpose, that this is not just a 9-to-5 job. You love what you're doing. And I would hope that all of you are doing things that you love and have found purpose in your careers. And you want to express that to other people in an enthusiastic way. And right back to my first point again, it's about giving. It's about what can I do for you? How can I benefit you? And be authentic about it. Because people will see through you in a minute if you're just pretending to be caring, if you're just pretending to be helpful. And your credibility will be shot. So again, enthusiasm, giver's gain is the BNI motto. I'm not a BNIer, but I go and substitute whenever I possibly can. It's a fantastic organization. And learn, constantly be out there figuring out what's the latest, what's the newest, what's going on, so that you can stay up to date in your business. And that's my information on networking as a marketing strategy.